movies and dreams are intertwined. Not only is Hollywood known as the Dream Factory, dream sequences allow filmmakers to utilize every tool in their arsenal. There is no correct way to make a dream sequence, but getting it wrong can be a nightmare. This is how to shoot a dream sequence. Before you nod off, subscribe to StudioBinder and enable notifications. Time to dream.
Really tie the room together.
Dream sequences allow filmmakers to unburden themselves with imitating reality. Dreams and similar sequences like hallucinations or drug trips can bend time, space, and all other expectations of the physical world. As such, filmmakers tend to approach dream sequences differently than other scenes in their film, somehow signaling that they are not the real world. This can take countless forms, and a director must be judicious in selecting how to diverge from the reality of their story world. An avant-garde free-for-all may be tempting, but a dream should still fit, tonally and stylistically, within the film as a whole, even if it's a departure from what's real. As Andrei Tarkovsky warned, there are some aspects of human life that can only be faithfully represented through poetry. But this is where directors very often try to use clumsy, conventional gimmickry instead of poetic logic. All too often, film dreams are made into a collection of old-fashioned filmic tricks and cease to be a phenomenon of life.
Alan! Alan!
Dreams are a way for filmmakers to anchor themselves in a character's perspective, showing the audience how they view the world.
You are a god.
It can be as simple as performance choices, making your actors behave uncannily or over the top. Or a dreamlike feel can be created within filmmaking techniques themselves, such as cinematography. Dreams often prompt directors and cinematographers to lean further into a stylized visual palette. This can be a lens choice, like the surreal wide-angle close-ups in The Sopranos. Or it can be a filter placed on top of a lens. A mister or fogged lens is especially common, giving highlights in particular an ethereal glow. In The Exorcist III, a dream sequence is signaled with a smeared lens, which distorts light into streaks. The Prince of Darkness, meanwhile, indicates its dreams by swapping cameras entirely, shooting on low-grade camcorders for an unsettling effect. Lighting choices, too, can underscore a dream. In Uncanny, figures within a dream are obscured using stylized, low-key lighting, adding a layer of mysterious anonymity. This sequence, In Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind, meanwhile, uses a spotlight to create a surreal and unsettling mood, visually representing memories being disrupted and surveilled.
I wish you'd stayed.
I wish I'd stayed too. Now I wish I'd stayed. I wish I'd done a lot of things.
Joe Dante exhibits stylized dream lighting in The Burbs, using strong backlights through fog to create an eerie feeling. Camera movement, too, can affect the look of a dream. In Rosemary's Baby, a continuous tracking shot seamlessly segues the audience into and back out of Rosemary's dream, building on the film's central theme by blurring the boundaries between what's in her head and what's reality. A camera move can also work to disorient an audience. In headers, a tilt turns the camera entirely upside down, adding to the topsy-turvy feel of the dream. Often, dreams will also experiment with production design. Production design is instrumental to the look of a scene. And in dreams, the possibilities for a production designer are endless, ranging from naturalistic to theatrical. In Spellbound, Alfred Hitchcock leaned fully theatrical, enlisting the father of surrealism, Salvador Dali, to design the look of a sequence. Predictably, the scene is almost entirely divorced from reality, visually exaggerating the story beats narrated by the dreamer. Hitchcock outlines his goal with the sequence.
What I was after was, again, the thing we talked about earlier, the vividness of dreams. As you know, all Dali's work is very solid and very sharp.
When he turned up his cards, they were blank. Just then, the proprietor came in and accused him of cheating. The proprietor yelled, "This is my place, and if I catch you cheating again, I'll fix you."
This approach is a favorite of Golden Age musicals, which use dreams as an excuse to create avant-garde sets which otherwise would be out of place in a 4-quadrant studio film. The Coen brothers borrow from this tradition in The Big Lebowski, utilizing elaborate sets and props to externalize the dude's deepest desires and fears. Dream worlds can also be created through careful attention to color. In What's New Pussycat, the dream set is all black and white, working in concert with the black and white outfits of characters to create a uniform and dreamlike look. Because there are no rules in dream worlds, everyday set dressing can behave in unpredictable ways. In Le Grand Amour, a dream begins seemingly rooted in reality, until this happens. More subtle dream PD often hints at surrealism through minimalism. In the opening dream of Day of the Dead, nothing is overly fantastical about the set, but its lack of decoration hints that something is slightly off. A production designer can also let the location do the work for them. In Vanilla Sky, it becomes clear we are in a dream by simply showing the streets of New York empty. Once a dream is shot, it can be further augmented in the edit. In his book, In the Blink of an Eye, editor Walter Murch argues that editing and dreams are fundamentally connected. Writing, "We accept the cut because it resembles the way images are juxtaposed in our dreams. In fact, the abruptness of the cut may be one of the key determinants in actually producing the similarity between films and dreams." When representing a dream, therefore, editors are able to break continuity editing rules without taking the audience out of the movie. In the dream sequence from Shutter Island, editor Thelma Schoonmaker deliberately disrupts continuity, making the scene feel uncanny. Eight and a Half, meanwhile, utilizes freeze frames to draw attention to certain details and create a distinct, unreal rhythm in the scene. David Lynch, one of the foremost purveyors of dream logic in film, reverses footage in the dreams of Twin Peaks. The result is otherworldly, cryptic movements, and dialogue delivery.
Are you Laura Palmer?
I feel quiet. No, we're sometimes my arms bend back.
One very common dream technique is slow motion, which immediately divorces a sequence from the pace of reality. Of course, this is a decision that needs to be made before post, since footage needs to be captured at a higher frame rate to get smooth motion. Editors also have different strategies for getting in and out of a dream. One classic version is the ripple effect, which has become so overused that it's typically only used now in a tongue-in-cheek manner. A similar approach is the dissolve, which clearly demarcates the real world from the dream world. A more stylized angle is the frame within a frame. Instead of fully leaving a sleeping character, we see their dream in a smaller window. This allows the audience to see in real time how the character is reacting to their own imagination. Another way to achieve a similar effect is by cross-cutting between the dream and the dreamer. Sherlock Jr. takes a more experimental approach, using a double exposure to lay the groundwork for a scene that plays with the line between reality and dream logic. Sometimes, however, a filmmaker may not want the entry into a dream to be so clear. This means that the editor will treat the scene normally until the dream reveals itself. For these fake-outs, exiting the dream is usually marked by a hard cut, otherwise known as a smash cut. For dreams that are much more divorced from reality, an editor may throw out continuity editing altogether and lean into Soviet montage or associative editing, cutting together images that create suggestive juxtapositions. In The Exorcist, Father Karras' dream is nightmarish, but doesn't pin his fears down in one obvious place, highlighting his fragmented state of mind. William Friedkin describes his approach.
I made up the dream sequence in the editing room out of a lot of found objects, in addition to the repetition of some shots that you had already seen. I was trying to show how the symbiosis can occur between two different people whose lives are inextricably tied together in ways that are not clear to them as yet.
In Three Women, Robert Altman pushes this further, creating an associative dream sequence filled with dissolves, drawing implicit comparisons, and creating unsettling imagery. Color, too, can be augmented in post-production to be dreamlike. It can be overt, such as the monochromatic tinting in Vertigo, or the inverted colors of Ivan's childhood. Andrei Tarkovsky describes how he arrived at this approach. We had to decide how to come close to the particular poetry of the dream. This was not something that could be decided in the abstract. Quite unexpectedly, it occurred to us to have negative images in the third dream. This all merely created an atmosphere of unreality. Or the color palette can be subtly altered, whether it be slightly desaturated to convey an upsetting dream, or overexposed to create an otherworldly feeling. Sound design, too, can augment a dream world. Often, filmmakers will add ethereal music, which will simultaneously underscore the tone of the scene as well.
Tina?
A popular dream technique is adding reverb to diegetic sounds, which instantly shifts the sequence out of the real world. In The Conversation, Coppola and Murch heavily filter the sounds within the dream, emphasizing just how steeped Harry is in his auditory espionage world.
I'm not afraid of death.
A more understated approach is to focus on one sound. In Cachet, the dream's sound bed focuses solely on the chicken flapping, giving the otherwise real-looking sequence a surreal quality. There are precious few spaces for the avant-garde in film. Dreams provide a sandbox in which filmmakers can experiment and push boundaries, as long as they serve both the story and character. Start planning your next dream sequence with StudioBinder's pre-production software, which includes tools for storyboarding and shot listing. That's all for now. Sleep well.